Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Project Wingman reaction. Of course, these were requested by Spinrift and my executive producers, and this would be Coronation and Final Flight. I'm aware that neither of these are directly connected in any way, just the fact that they're both from the same game and they're both pretty short. I decided I'll do them both at the same time. I'm also aware that Coronation comes right after Kings, and that Final Flight is like the credits for Frontline 59, I believe. So like that is the context I got from Spinrift, and I did re-listen to Kings just to make sure that I was aware of what that one was, because it's been like a year since I've heard it. But now that I'm all ready and set to go, hopefully all of you are too, and without further ado, let's go! Well, that's very ominous. I can already kind of hear the King's motif in there. The ominous cello. That detuning. The weird part is I don't know what happened at the end of Kings. I didn't like reread any comments that gave me any context for that one. So now I'm sitting here like, this feels like everyone died. This feels like a lot of people are gone now. This is definitely the type of song that would play after a very emotional loss. I'm just not entirely sure truly to what extent. I say everyone, but maybe not. Maybe it's just sitting there living with it. It's like every breath in the strings feels more and more strained, like labored breathing. That's why it's like giving me that feeling. Man, that is far too short. Like, my brain wants more answers than that song gave. It really did not give you one. It just let you sit there with the consequences of your actions for a little bit, and those always get to me. All right, so legitimately after listening to that song, I just kind of sat there for a little bit and just internalized it. You know, it's a great song when it can make you do that, though. It really did just make me reflect on things, even personal choices, even though I haven't made anything that would make me this depressed. I haven't done anything wrong, you know, and I'm sitting here just like thinking about choices I've made in middle school that made me feel like this. And it's a beautiful thing when a song can make you reflect on stuff like that, even if it's not the point to reflect directly to your own personal life, and it's just supposed to be for the context in the game, because it means it hits you emotionally that hard, deeper than it was even intending to. And this song just really, like I said, it feels like labored breathing. It really just feels like there's a depressive edge to this that I can't get away from, and I'm not sure why that is. Like I said, I missed all that context. I just heard Kings, which sounds so much more like proud and intense, albeit the intensity doesn't sound exactly joyous in that song. It's more of like a hell yeah sort of feeling at parts in it, at least, and by the end of it, it's starting to ground itself a little bit more. And this one, it feels like I missed a chapter, which I'm sure I did, because there's probably like a cutscene or something in between these two songs playing. Or maybe it just jumps from like the end of whatever that battle was, whatever that fight was, to this, the results of that fight. And after you've had time to like take off the adrenaline, you know, from your system, and you're finally starting to relax a little bit more, and, you know, the deed is done, you're realizing that the devastation laid in your wake is much farther than you would have anticipated. And I'm not sure if that's good for you. You know, with this song, it doesn't feel like you're happy about it. It doesn't feel like there's a moment of like, oh yeah, we did it. And then you turn around and all your friends are gone. That's the feeling that I'm getting from this one. And again, I'm not sure to what degree that is accurate. It might be fairly close. You might have lost a lot of good comrades in this fight for all I know. But I am not entirely sure, because it could just be like you and all your friends are fine, but you may be realizing that the scorched earth laying below you is now nothing but embers, and that was your fault. So it really could be either one of those. But this song, I don't know why it got me so hard. And the fact that it's called Coronation makes me so curious as to what that correlation could be, because it's like a coronation from what? That fight? The academy? Like, I'm not sure where this exactly takes place. I'm assuming that you're already like full-fledged fighters and like there's not an academy involved, but like the coronation from what, you know? And it doesn't sound like a happy venture either. So maybe it's an actual coronation from like your service potentially, and you're the only one that's left. That's my best guess, I guess. I feel like the scorched earth below you thing could very well be a potential kind of Pearl Harbor in that way, where it's just like, you might be proud of what you've done, but you weren't there fast enough, and that's gonna sit with you, you know? And it's just, I would hate to live through that sort of an emotional roller coaster. But God, this song, it's really throwing me through one, just because I'm not sure what the story is, and I'm left with those gaps to try and fill in. So that's all I can do is guess. But I suppose I should get to Final Flight, which feels like what this song should be called, just based on the vibes here. I feel like this one belongs to the title Final Flight, because it feels so much more daunting, and like there is an end very close. So I guess Coronation does track in that way, but either way, I'm digressing here. I need to get to Final Flight. Beautiful guitar playing. A little bit of a chord buzz in there. I love it when they leave stuff like chord buzz in a guitar track. Especially for emotional things like this. It doesn't need to be perfect. It shouldn't be. And I can already tell this is emotional. Does sound kind of similar in ways to Coronation. A lot of it is just the energy, but I feel like there's some similarities in the note progression. Ooh. Well, that was weird. It kind of went to a half resolution. That was... What is it, Pavli? You and your dynamic range, dude. Really loves playing around with that, like, swelling sensation. See, that one resolves at the end. That one feels like I'm actually done, compared to the other one that does not feel like I was at all finished. This one definitely has more of a finality to it. So yeah, this one totally makes sense as a credit song. I really have nothing to add on that front. It's a credits track. I mean, there you go. I mean, I love the beautiful guitar playing. Like I said, I love it when they leave stuff like chord buzz in there, because that is such an organic thing, and it does make the song feel more personal. It makes the song feel like it's breaking down a little bit with you, because chord buzz is natural. It's a thing that happens when you're playing the guitar, unless you're playing it perfectly and like re-recording it to make sure that doesn't happen. Chord buzz is pretty common. I've learned that recently as I've started to learn how to play the guitar. It's just a thing that does happen once in a while. Too much of it is obviously a bad thing. You want to be under control, but for songs like this that are slow and can utilize that as part of the energy in the song, it's good to leave it alone. So if you're working on making a song that's like this emotional swelling piece similar to this at any point, leave those details in there. Leave those imperfections alone a lot of the times, and your song will feel better for it. It leaves more of you in the piece instead of feeling like this pristine, over-processed song that just, you know, is what everyone wants to hear. But if you're trying to make something emotional, it should be what the reflection of the emotion needs to be. And I think they did that very well here. I think Jose nailed that feeling of just leaving things alone. And again, while also feeling like there was constant flow, and he loves doing that, like swelling just to keep those dynamics moving, it feels like crashing waves and just a very lonely moment, a heartbeat, a breath that's never ending, but also slow and laborious. But at the same time, unlike Coronation, this one actually did resolve, and the resolution there is minor. It just kind of resolves into a singular note by the end. It's not this big final chord that's like, wow, everything's done, everything's okay. This is a reflective piece. This song, much like Coronation in tone, makes you sit there and go, damn. But the fact that it actually ends on a resolution instead of letting you dangle on that final note and kind of just dissipate off into the waters, this song feels more like the boat has finally come to port, you know, like there is a moment where you're able to place in time that I am done. And here we are, we have reached a destination. Where Coronation doesn't feel like that. It feels like there's so much more yet to happen, and you're just, you know, lost in that flow of not being sure how to process it. For this one, this is just a processing song. This song would go well with any emotional processing scene ever, you know, like throw this right into any of the Last of Us moments where they have those emotional moments where they're processing their trauma and all the things that they've been through, and you would never know. You could probably throw this into any scene in that series and it would be perfectly fine. And I think Jose did a really good job with that. Again, just making sure that you keep that emotion on lock. And unlike Coronation, getting an answer at the end of this one makes it feel much more like a credits track that gives you that final cover of the book to close, instead of leaving you in the middle of a chapter without any words on the following page and you're like, where the fuck is the rest of it? Much like Coronation did. So while that is frustrating on Coronation's part, that's also probably a part of that emotional manipulation of the track that Jose wanted, to allow it to sit there and dangle and not give you those answers, because you're not done yet. But for this one, you are. So you know what? Take a load off, understand, feel like you're safe for even a moment, because this mission is finally complete and you're able to put that into a physical manifest with that final resolution. Beautiful, beautiful track. Love both of these songs. Their progressions individually are very, very unique. It's just that they hit a very similar emotional peak, and it's like, God, the fact that both of these songs could have been listened to separately, I'm glad I listened to both of these at the same time, because they are so similar, and that's probably why Spin Rift put both of these in together, because they do hit a lot of those similar vibes. But I'll digress there. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you want to request something else from Project Wingman or maybe even Ace Combat, I did see the Game Awards, so I saw the announcement for Ace Combat 8. So if you have songs from those, and especially whenever Ace Combat 8 comes out, let me know in the comments and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee something, much like Spinriff did for this one, and of course he's hyped about AC8 as well, then you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, where there's a tier that you can force me to listen to anything you want. Doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!